my final venture as a scientist. And so begins, at long last, my world peace experiment.
Greetings, I am the being known as Rad Chad, the Mad Lad, and to some of you, your dad. And welcome to what is hopefully a new series where we go over characters who are not yet playable and look at what if they were playable. So we theorize a moveset for them and how they would play in Strive. A little disclaimer before we start, I am not Daisuke, I know. It's hard to believe that I'm not Daisuke, but this character and this moveset will not be in the game unless they steal my ideas. So do not judge it based on if it will actually be in the game. And I will not be considering balance, because balancing a game is hard as flip. So I'm just not going to think about it. We're mainly going to look at the concepts and fun ideas of how they might play based on their personalities. And one more thing before we get into it, I want to give a big thanks to Red from Uzalitz. Go give him a watch. He did the posing and some animation, and I also bounced ideas off of him. He was a big help for this video, so please check him out. He's going to be making a sister video to this one. And also a big shout out to Red Muffler Man, who will be doing the voice of the character we're covering. And that character is... Hey, while we're in the dark void, could you press the like and subscribe button? Just real quick. Okay, thanks, bye-bye. Asuka Archetype, also known as the Gear Maker, also known as That Man, also known as the Devil. He was a student of the inventor of magic, the original. And spoilers, the original is Happy Chaos. Whoa, crazy. Who saw that one coming? And Happy Chaos was able to go between reality and the backyard, in a dimension which is basically DNA of reality and holds the essence of all magic. So Happy Chaos was like, no, this power can't go into evil hands. So he made a book called the Tome of Origin, which held the power to go to the backyard. At some point, Asuka, our main man, was able to get this book and fused it with his body, so he became book. And during the events of Strive, Happy Chaos had forgot how to get to the backyard, so he had to open up Asuka the book and to get, I know, superpowered or... Okay, we're going ahead of ourselves. Guilty Gear lore is weird. Let's step back a few moments. So, before Asuka was that man, he was a man, a scientist working with Frederick and Arya, and he was such good friends with them that he turned them into horrific abominations of magic, known as gears. Thanks, Asuka. Cool beans. Frederick and Arya forgot who they were, turned into Soul and Justice, and then fought each other, resulting in Justice's or Arya's death. Asuka, you're such a good friend. You're just a great guy, aren't you? After this point, it gets a little confusing to know exactly what Asuka did. Apparently, he was responsible for the Crusades, but as it turns out in Strive, Happy Chaos was also going under the moniker of That Man and framing Asuka for evil actions. It is heavily implied that Happy Chaos was actually the one that blew up Japan. Whoopsies. But later on after that, he tried to fix up his bad goofs, his little oopsie doopsies. So Asuka created a clone of Arya so that Soul can be happy with his wife, and then drag in uninstalled Soul so he can live as a normal human being. Mans does not make the easiest solution. So Asuka is basically the epicenter of Guilty Gear lore, but is responsible for a lot of the events that occur in Guilty Gear. So it's really crazy that it was never playable, and there were so many opportunities that he could have been playable, and they just didn't make him playable. And now is the best time out of any to make him playable, because he was such a prominent figure in the story mode. He is the perfect addition, which is why I've chosen him as the subject of today's video. But if we're going to make a moveset out of Asuka, we need to go back and see all the times that he actually fought in Guilty Gear. The first time we see Asuka fight in Guilty Gear is in Guilty Gear Overture, where he fought Soul in a boss fight. He wasn't playable, it was just a boss fight, and in this boss fight, it was Toho. He just shot a bunch of laser beams, threw projectiles everywhere, had turrets put down, threw doors at you, weird stuff. But this is the first time he fought, despite being a known figure in the games before then. After that, the next time he fights in Strive, he almost fought in Exit, but we weren't shown on screen that part. But in Strive, throughout the story mode, he shot laser beams with his hand, and there was a particular scuffle he had with Soul, where he was able to show off some of his super magical moves, and he was even able to overpower Soul and drag and uninstall him. We know that he has a strength that is at least on par with Soul. We can see some of the magical abilities he does. He seems to like projectiles, so that might have something to do with his playstyle. Sorry guys, looks like we're getting a zoner. Now, in terms of his personality, because his personality will probably play into his moveset as well as his general styling. He's more of an intellectual and a strategist than a fighter. He usually sticks to the sidelines and lets others do his dirty work, like Raven and Ino. Yeah, I know it's Ino. I know I usually say I know because I'm based and cool, but okay, fuck you. He often overlooks morals and regrets it. Basically, he's a Darman video character. Scientist turns friends into gears. Lives to regret it. So he's more of a strategist and intellectual, and he wants to keep away from who he's fighting. So with all of this in mind, here is Asuka, the playable character. His archetype is a sit-up, sit-play zoner character. My reasoning for this? I want a playstyle for Asuka that requires you to think ahead and rewards setup and management. He'll be like a keep-away character that needs to take time to set up his bigger combos. Basically, I want you to feel like you're playing 40 chess against your opponent. I want you to fight Soul and see him go all lunga bunga, and then you could push up your glasses and be like, haha, foolish bean, I have set up a 10,000 damage combo right where you stepped. Now you're going to die 10 times. Now, we have everything we need for the main event. Let's look at Asuka's move list.
Stasis.
Stasis. Down, down punch. Air okay. Asuka freezes all of the mobile projectiles and unfreezes all of the frozen ones. So frozen projectiles build up kinetic energy, which makes them go faster than the unfrozen.
Now.
So you want to use this to freeze projectiles and empower them with the kinetic energy, but also save them for combos down the line, or save them for Oki. Basically, you can hold on to projectiles when you need them most, but you do need to wait a while before they become viable to use. You want to set them up early and then keep your opponent at bay until you can pull out those big damaging combos.
Accelerate.
Acceleration. Half back kick. Asuka swipes his hand over the Tome of Origination, speeding up the pages as well as speeding up the kinetic energy of all frozen projectiles. Basically, this is a move when you knock down your enemy or you've got them at full screen and you just want to empower the projectiles you already have on screen and that are frozen, and it will speed them up and prepare them for when you want to unfreeze them.
Predictable.
Momentum. DP kick. Asuka pushes out the Tome of Origination and uses the momentum of his opponent's attack to increase the speed of his next projectile. So this is a counter that just knocks back the enemy. It doesn't knock them down or hurt them, it just knocks them back. But Asuka's next projectile will come out quicker and will come out at full kinetic energy, meaning he's more dangerous. He doesn't have any reversals other than this one, so this is like his main way to get out of pressure. And once he activates it, he has the ability to do either a really strong combo or cool out his opponents for reckless attacks, giving him a little bit of a leg up in a dangerous situation. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Quarter forward slash. Asuka shoots out a full screen laser beam. Because fuck you. This acts as a poke tool. You can cool out your opponent if they want to push you to stop you from your setups. Force. Quarter forward heavy slash. Asuka coalesces a great amount of magical energy to create an unstable ball of electricity that slowly moves across the battlefield. This is the first of the projectiles that we can pause with the stasis special move. When this pauses, it will build up kinetic energy. However, unlike other projectiles, it doesn't build up as much speed. Instead, it builds up more damage. This is more of a area control tool as it's got a large hitbox and it's quite slow moving, so it's good for Oki, but it's a big commitment, big startup on creating it.
Create gear.
Friction. Quarterback heavy slash. Asuka brings a gear into reality. A guilty gear, if you will. that rolls across the ground. This is not a low attack, it is just a low hitbox that the opponent can jump over. So this moves at medium speed, it builds up very fast with kinetic energy, but it is able to be jumped over by the opponent. But at higher kinetic energy levels, it is very hard to react to this.
Create arrow.
Aerodynamics. Quarterback slash. Asuka pulls from the backyard a magically infused arrow that shoots upwards. It goes fast even when first summoned, so this is a very good combo tool as well as a good anti-air. Motion. Quarter forward punch. A small concentrated orb of energy that Asuka throws out. It bounces 3 times before dissipating, and the more kinetic energy it builds up, the larger the arcs and the larger the distance it goes. It's a bouncy ball. You want to have a good balance of its kinetic energy to make it bounce far enough to hit your opponent or be used in combos, but not too much, because if you give it too much kinetic energy, it will bounce off the screen and not come back down. So that's it for the special moves, but let's move on to the supers.
I need more time.
Relativity. Half back forward punch. Asuka slows down time itself for everyone around him, including the opponent and the background animations. This makes the opponent's neutral incredibly ineffective, and your combos become way more deadly, because it makes your opponent more floaty. It doesn't last a crazy amount of time, but it is a quite versatile super, and should be quite useful for a zoner like him. Origination. Half back forward heavy slash. This is the animation super. This animation was made by the lovely Red, and he's whipped up something absolutely fantastic, so check it out.
Behold the backyard.
In this super, Asuka creates a paradox, and when fused with the backyard, creates an unstable miasma that breaks forth through into reality and decimates your opponent. This super is not a reversal, it is however a strong combo ender that does a massive amount of damage and looks incredibly cool. That is basically Asuka. His preferred space is the end of the screen, similar to like Axel, where he wants to set up his future combos by pausing his projectiles and saving them for the most opportune time, as well as managing them, because with the stasis you can bring out a projectile, freeze it, but then bring out another projectile, and when you use stasis again, the second projectile will freeze but the first projectile will unfreeze. So you need good management of your projectiles. This setup is dangerous, so to help him with that, he has his defensive tools like his full screen laser beam that can keep away opponents, but if they get too close, he has momentum as a weak counter, but one that should hopefully get him out of sticky situations. So that's Asuka, that's all my ideas for him. Let me know what you think. Did I get him right? Do you think I did him justice? Or do you think I just horribly goofed it up? Are there little things that need fixing? Did you like certain ideas I did? Comment your thoughts. If you have any thoughts at all in that little nugget of a brain of yours, comment them down below. Once again, huge thanks to Red. Was an absolute legend with helping with the poses and creating that absolutely baller animation, and just in general has been super helpful for this project. So 100% please support his stuff. This video would not have been as good as it is without him. And also big thanks to Red Muffler Man for doing the voice of Asuka. Check his stuff out, check Red's stuff out, they deserve it. But you know, let me know what you think. Let me just give your thoughts in general. Literally just even if you're thinking about how hungry you are right now, just write that down in the comments. Write literally anything you're thinking right now in the comments, at all. Hey, don't leave, please, don't leave me. Bing bong, hey tiny nuts. As you can tell, these vids have gone on a lot longer, meaning I need to put more time into them. So if you want to see some extra saucy behind the scenes content, consider supporting the Patreon.